Welcome back to the Shine Within podcast. Ray Leonard is an accomplished author, intuitive guide, and coach. Her newest publication, High Sobriety, A Trip Out of the Bottle into Your Intuition, integrates her diverse expertise in Jeva Mukti, I hope I said that right, yoga and vortex healing, conscious language, and master cleansing. Ray is dedicated in facilitating post-traumatic growth in individuals who are poised for transformation. In her coaching, she blends frequency work, biofeedback, and transformative practices to assist her clients in altering ingrained behaviors and uncovering a finely tuned inner compass. Wow. Thank you so much, Ray, for being on my show today. I'm so excited to talk with you.
Oh, Gina, I'm excited to talk with you. Thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. And I know that you talk about using experiences as a catalyst for growth. Can you go ahead and actually share a personal story where a challenging experience propelled you into a significant personal development?
Well, every negative experience, has the potential for transformation. When you have any kind of energy, it's positive or negative, you can instantly flip it, right? Um, and so that comes down to even little thoughts. You have a negative thought, you can transform it instantly into something positive because you already have the energy going. So you don't have to um, think, wow, I'm in such a bad mood, or I'm feeling so negatively. um, I can, how do I get out of it? You can just instantly flip it, turn poison into medicine. So I've done that many times in my life, but absolutely, with my sobriety trip out of the bottle, for sure. I found myself in alcohol dependency when I was in my mid 40s, and I had really um, played with it hard my entire life since I was a teenager. I started drinking with my friends when I was a kid, and I always ran kind of a dualistic life because there was a part of me that was kind of clamped down when I was started drinking, that always knew that I was meant to help people, meant to uplift people. Yet our culture uh, kind of led me to believe that alcohol was fine, and that it was something that you could do and run and be healthy and also drink with your friends on the weekend. So I did that for many, many years until my mid 40s. Boom, I found myself dependent on a very, very dangerous, addictive substance, yet it's mass marketed, mass produced, socially acceptable in our society. So it's really not a surprise, but there I was. I found myself wanting to drink earlier and earlier in the day, just have a little glass of wine, you're fine. And I was like, who is this talking? I knew that there were negative entities that were attached to me and that were trying to take me down.
Mm.
So I quit cold turkey. I kind of led up to quitting. I knew I was going to make a sneak attack because I felt if I just announced, oh, I'm done with alcohol, that it would be harder. So I doubled down on my yoga asana while I drank. I chanted mantra while I drank. I listened to sober podcasts while I drank, until I was ready, until I really felt that I had built my strength up. And this is where I think I had an advantage over people who get addicted early on in their life and they don't really have the skills to rely on, or that they can access to help them quit and understand who they are, that their true self is really, really buried down there. So I quit, and instantly all of my clair senses, my intuition that I had from a child, came flooding back to me. All this support. As soon as I shut that door, I was instantly supported. And I was like, okay, that's it. That part, wow, that's over. That was easy. I don't want to trivialize it for anyone, but once you make your mind up and you stop, you can move on quickly. It doesn't have to be a big, long recovery period. You can just move on with your life. And I did very quickly. And I wrote a book and I started coaching people. Because I was always a coach anyway. I was always helping people, but I wasn't necessarily helping myself. And that led me to podcasts, which I always wanted to do because I really want to share my journey with people in case there's something in it that can assist them.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm going back to childhood for myself. I remember I was seeing things, animals that were next to me that this was in my crib, by the way, that were there, like watching over me. I don't know. It was a neat, like, and I the whole time I asked my mom, just was my crib in a certain position here? And my sisters slept here and the door was there. She's like, oh yeah, that was our house over when we lived in Milpitas a while ago. You were just a baby. I'm like, oh my goodness, because I literally remember me standing up from the crib and crying because I was kind of concerned that there was like, so it was actually a raven or a crow. I wasn't sure which one because they look alike. And then I was crying and she came to me and picked me up. And that was my very first memory. And so I already knew I had some gifts, but like you said, once I started then drinking, those gifts kind of like disappeared. And then those negative entity attachments were right there ready for me to fail. They wanted me not to succeed and to be the spiritual being that I am with a bunch of light within and wanted me down. And that's exactly what happened. My life was just is chaotic, and I didn't want to stop. And those evil entities really were no good. I was seeing things. Hey, I was hearing things. I think I told you about the hearing things, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, this is crazy. So I'm so happy that you got out of it. I got out of it, and people can get out of it, And then once we do get out of it, you'll notice your life completely different and those senses. Now, talking about senses, what are some simple ways people can begin to expand their clairvoyant senses or psychic powers? And could you guide us through like a basic exercise or something that we can learn?
Sure. The key is resting and relaxing and inviting your spirit guides. By the way, that was an animal guide, right? That you had the crow or the raven that came to visit you. That was an animal guide right there when you were a baby for you.
Right.
So you can so as an example for you, Gina, I would say go and connect with the birds.
Mm-hmm.
They're your friends. They're your buddies. Start feeding them, start talking to them, start loving on them. And then you're going to be engaging your clairaudience more because you're going to hear them. You're going to hear them respond to you. At first, you're going to say, oh, that bird wasn't talking to me. Yeah, that bird was talking to you. And then you'll start to see as you're thinking things. I call this the 5D treasure hunt. It's how to work in the fifth dimension. Right now, we're in the third. We're working in the third. But when you connect with the fifth dimension and you allow your senses to take a back seat and you allow your extra sensory perceptions to come forward by dulling your eyes a little bit, blurring your vision, cutting down on the five senses and allowing your extra sensory perceptions, which are not extra, everyone has them, to come forward. So you might hear a bird, you might see a leaf coming down, and you're going to start to realize that these are clues. These are clues in the fifth dimension, in the spirit world for you. And spirit guides like to have fun. They like to play little tricks and talk to you in riddles. So you might not understand. Don't make it, oh, I need the answers. Just enjoy the treasure hunt and just enjoy receiving the clues. Oh, I got that clue. I got that clue, which was, I'm thinking about a friend. Should I call that friend? Tweet, tweet. Oh, thank you. I should call that friend. That kind of thing. Start slow and take little pauses in your day. If you don't have the luxury to, take naps and get up at your own time, get up at your own pace. If you have kids or you got to go to work, when you do have time, take a little pause in your car, just 3 minutes, just close your eyes and focus on your breath. Oh, we could do it now. You want to do it now a little bit?
Yeah, we can. Absolutely.
For like a minute? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So breath is boss. That's one of the chapters in my book. That's the one thing, that's the first thing you do when you come out of the womb. And it's the last thing you do before you leave this plane is breathe. Super, super important. So just start practicing a little exercise like this. Close your eyes and start inhaling and exhaling through your nose on a 4 count. Keep it really simple. Inhale, 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 inhale. Exhale, 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 exhale. Inhale, 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 inhale. Exhale, 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 exhale. And continue. Focus on the breath. And when you find yourself thinking thoughts, just acknowledge them. Okay, that's a thought. I can choose to let that thought go and come back to my breath. Inhale, 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 inhale. Oh, there's another thought. I'm going to stop at the bank. I also need to stop at the grocery store. Oops, I just strung some thoughts together and I'm supposed to be focusing on my breath. Let's go back to it. Inhale, 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 inhale. Exhale, 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 exhale.
Yeah, I feel so relaxed now.
Good. Oh, good.
Yes, I love breath work. It's amazing. I love it. I love it. And then I escape into a different world. My mom needs to practice this. I've gotten to a level where no thoughts come to my head. I just really do focus on my breath, but my mom can benefit from this because she has all these different thoughts coming in and they're all bridging together. I'm like, no, don't think about them. So she
Bringing
should practice this.
them together and getting all frantic.
Right. That's beautiful. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. And yes, if you are driving and listening to this, you may want to go ahead and pull over and park, and then you can do this exercise because it will relax you and take you to a beautiful state of mind and spirit.
Yeah, you can do that with your mom. Don't make it like she needs to do it. Be like,
Right.
Mom, I really need to do this. Will you breathe with me for 5 minutes? We can set the alarm. We're just going to do it for 5 minutes. Inhale, 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 exhale, 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 exhale. Just 5 minutes.
Yeah. Really, it's a life changer. It's a life changer. Thank you so much. And it's very funny. We're going back to the birds, right? By the way, I was hearing the beautiful birds in the background at your home. It was like they were already saying, "What's up? I'm here listening." That was so neat. But those crows are with me all the time. At first, when I was drinking heavily, I was like, "Oh, they're so annoying. Go away. You're waking me up." But now that I've learned and spoken to a lot of, mediums and psychics and intuitives, they're telling me, no, those birds are your like spirit guides. So now I communicate to them completely differently. And I'm like, come to me, birds. I love you. Because I will see one everywhere I go, or at least two, three, four. Some of them. Okay, let me tell you a story. When I was waiting for my son at his high school, and I was, in the parking lot, I saw a bunch of crows, hanging out, and I saw them across the street on the other parking side. And I'm like, oh, come and visit me. You guys are so beautiful. Come and visit me. And then they all came together right next to me. I'm getting cold chills to talking about this. And so and then I just filmed them. You can see their eye, we're making like eye contact. They're like, I'm like, this is so cool. So anyway, I had to share that. So they are
Well,
there.
they're also passed on loved ones and our ancestors.
Oh, I
So
believe it. Yeah.
you can talk to them if there's someone in your life that you're missing. You can, is that you and Edna? And they'll look right at you, and then
Oh,
you can,
wow.
and then you talk to them. So yes, they take the form of our ancestors and passed on loved ones as protectors and guides. So they're your gang, they're your people.
Yes. And speaking of that, I know we're talking about birds, but how can someone also start recognizing signs from their spirit guides besides birds you know, um, or past loved ones, I should say? And then can you share an example of a synchronicity from your own life that had a profound impact?
So your dream world is just such an easy way to cultivate your spirit guides coming to you. And a lot of people say to me, yeah, but I don't remember my dreams. And so I say, okay, well, you're missing about half your life because we spend so much time sleeping and we're dreaming so much of that time. And it's it's another dimension. It's a life to be lived, and you can uh, do so much more in your dreams than you can do in this 3D reality, right? Where we have these man-made constructs. Um, so you can put a note under your pillow for your spirit guides. Please come to me tonight and let me remember my dreams and remember what you're going to say to me, the wisdom that you have for me. That works. You can make a little pillow out of mugwort and lavender and put that under your pillow. That will help you remember your dreams. And then when you do remember a dream, you wake up and you write it down right away. Keep a little journal by your bed and write down everything you remember about that dream, including how you felt in the dream, because we're emotion-based beings. And you'll find yourself when you're falling asleep. Sometimes when I'm falling asleep, that moment when I'm in theta, they'll come right out. I'll see a bunch of my angels. They're like little sweet little jolly old men. That's my gang. They're just just they have like togas on with their little bellies. They're so cute, and they just come right out, and they say, Ray, we're here. And I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. Okay, well, let me fall asleep and then come and talk to me, and we'll have a meeting about what I want to get done tomorrow. And you're going to just do it all for me. I'm just going to go through my day in joy and grace. And you guys take care of everything I need to take care of, because you're my home team. You're my assistants. And they do that for me. And everything works out
That is so
perfectly.
awesome.
Sorry, that wasn't a synchronicity. Let me think of a
Oh,
synchronicity.
no, that was great still, though.
Good. Um, synchronicities are another way that your spirit guides talk to you. They're playing tricks on you when you have something happen, and you can have them in your dreams. So, and they can be prophecies. So indigenous people, they used to get the kids at the table in the morning, or around the fire in the morning, and they would say, tell us your dreams, because children are more in touch with all their senses, as we were
Mhm.
talking about. And what they dreamt about were prophecies for the tribe. Wouldn't that be great if everyone now was around the breakfast table with their kids saying, what'd you dream about? And we're going to really take that to heart, to mean something for us. But just a very recent example, I just dreamt little wisp, even if it's a wisp, I write it down, little wisp. I dreamt that a friend of mine was carrying an orange ball. Colors are really important. Symbols are really important. Just start writing them down, and you'll see them come back up again. So she had this orange ball. That's all I remember, just this little wisp. The next day, she's coming to my house, and I see her get out of her car, walking towards, and then something catches her eye, and she goes back behind the trees, and I couldn't see what she was doing. And she comes back with an orange ball.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but I was so excited. I was like, are you carrying an orange ball? I was like, it must be the neighbors across the street. I said, I just prophesized that. I saw that in my dream last night, that you had an orange ball. And that's what you can start to nurture in yourself. We have these gifts.
Yes. I just recently talked to my other son. He's 8. He's out of school now. So this morning I was like, why did you wake up at 6 in the morning and start showering? He's like, oh, I had a nightmare. Like, oh no. And I'm like, what was your nightmare about? And he gave me the whole story about these insects trying to eat him. And I'm like, oh no. And I told him, I said, honey, your spirit wanted to wander off in that world. I don't know. It just wanted to wander off. I said, sometimes mommy has those dreams too. But what I've learned now is during those scary dreams that I've had, I can actually change it. And I'm like, oh, I'm totally in control of my dream right now. I can totally change it. And I have the ability to now. It's amazing. I'm like, I don't know how this happened, but I'm more in tune to my dreams. So it's so neat. I love it. But I do love it when he shares his good
Thanks.
dreams. He's just so cute. And he says, oh, I did this and I saw this. We went here. I'm like, oh, tell me more about it. Because I get interested in the children's dreams and just their life and just seeing them in awe and just they're such a blessing.
It's such a special time. And
It is.
you are lucid dreaming. That's what you're doing when you wake up in your dreams, and you control it, and you can change, and you can do things.
Oh yeah,
And
lucid.
that's really fun, because you can be like, I'm going to fly now, and you can go fly to long distance relatives and go have a visit with them. It's all kinds of things you could do.
Wow. Yes, I remember. Well, in my heavy drinking, I got freaked out because I didn't know anything about nothing. And I had an outer body experience, and I went to like 4 different, I would say, dimensions or parallel or realities or whatever, because everything was happening, but there was just a different shift. Like my house was a different color. Um, my husband was making something different at the time. And I kept on getting so scared. I'm like, what's going on? I remember then going and it was like in a bubble when you see like those different colors of the film, what you're about to blow. My
Yes.
door was that, and I remember me being pushed back in my room, like like made that sound. I went in and then touched my own body. I don't know how I was able to feel it, and then went back in there, and I was freaked out. I called my mom, woke up. I'm like, I don't know what happened. I had some bad dreams. I need to really stop this alcohol, but I don't know. I was able to get out of my body, and that was the first and last time that happened to me. So I know it can happen.
Well, Gina, if you were drinking at the time, that what happens is when you black out, did you used to black out?
Only once in my life.
I used to black out all the time.
Oh,
So, and that, what you just did in your dream, that was blacking out, because when you black out, you're leaving your body,
mm.
because you're polluting your body so badly with poison that your true self, your higher consciousness is like, I'm out of here. So you
Ah,
leave, and then those negative entities come on in and take your body for a joyride, and that's why you don't remember, because it's not you.
right. That makes, oh, thank you so much for clarifying for me because I still am like, what happened back then? And I'm like, oh, so yes, thank you so much for that. I needed to hear that because it was just a confusing part of my life that wasn't, I didn't have clarity on that. And now you just gave it to me. So thank you.
Yeah, so we can all like let go of the shame and the guilt and whatever, because when you wake up from the blackouts, you're like, what did I do? It actually wasn't you. I mean, but you have control. You can quit the poison, and then that's not going to happen to you anymore. But there's so much, we put so much pressure on ourselves. What did I do when I was drinking? What did I say? And um, it's not just you.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's why they're called spirits, huh? Those drinks.
Exactly. Exactly. Absolutely. And the distilled alcohol is so much more intense because in ancient cultures, people had wine, they fermented beer, they fermented wine, whatever grains they had, there was some kind of fermentation. But it wasn't until the dawn of distillation, I think around the 9th century, that when you started to concentrate this alcohol, that alcohol became something. It wasn't even a thing before that. People weren't even addicted to it before that. Um, and it fueled the slave trade and or I call it the global thefting economy of imperialism, because they traded alcohol for enslaved people. So it is nasty. It's nasty, nasty stuff. And why? Because they wanted the indigenous people to have alcohol, because drunk people are easier to enslave. And it's the same thing now. Nothing has changed. That's why there's so much alcohol in our environment, in our culture, because drunk people are easier to enslave. There's just much more control. You don't even have control of yourself. So, someone else can, are, it's just easier to keep us working for what the agenda is. It's easier to keep us not feeling good about ourselves, not knowing our higher self and what we're really truly capable of, our divine, angelic, eternal beings that we are.
Yeah. Every corner you see a liquor store, and then it's the only substance where someone's asking you, why aren't you partaking? And if you say, oh, I don't want it, it's like the world is messed up. They want us to be at our lower vibrational self so that way we cannot be develop our higher consciousness where then we can do anything in this
But
world.
it's not working, because here we are.
Right. Our messages are important. Like I always say, my mess is my message. So, and then to help anybody else, who are struggling, it can be done. You can get through this, you can get through this for sure. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the cosmic conscious creation, since we're talking about cosmic and all this good stuff. I love all of your topics, by the way, of what you have, what you speak about, and it probably what's in your book too. But you mentioned that our life happens through us, with our thoughts, words, and actions shaping our reality. How can someone become more conscious of their role as a cosmic creator in their daily life?
Well, two ways. I use a device called Healy, and it's this little frequency device, and it upgrades my consciousness with a different frequency every 10 seconds. Because, well, Albert Einstein said, match the frequency of the reality that you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. This is philosophy. It's this is excuse me. This is not philosophy. This is physics.
Yeah.
So that's one way. I love, this is like easy buttons, and I use it with all my clients, and it helped me finish my book really quickly, and it helps me to have a clear vision of my life, and to look around and say, hey, everything that's going well, wonderful. I created that. Everything that's not going so well, everything that could definitely use a little bit of an improvement, I created that too, so I can create something else. And to have that confidence through experience, that knowing that, really, really knowing that. So no one's doing anything to you. Um, it's all causes that you have created, and this is your reflection. The world is just the universe, God, source, whatever you like to call it, is just reflecting back your inner self. So take those negative things, seemingly negative things that are happening to you, as an empowering step. Wow, that's something I'm going to do. I don't like the way that person talks to me. I'm going to do something about it. And it's not going to be change that person. It's going to be reaching deep inside myself and changing myself, so that my frequency changes, my vibration changes, and I'm going to be creating something else in front of me.
A Healy device. Wow. And then speaking about frequencies, I actually was listening to, which hertz was it was something for body pain. I always will play it on YouTube and I'll just find like, I'll search there frequency healing for and whatever I'm experiencing, whether it's back pain, so I can't sleep, anything. And I just listen to it. And then the next, like this morning, I feel fantastic. I feel
Oh, that's
fantastic.
interesting.
I love that frequency. Healy, this is the second time I'm hearing about the Healy. Do you actually sell it or do you just use it on your clients?
I have a bunch. I use them on my clients. I definitely help people get them for themselves. Or if they don't, I just use it with them in our sessions, either way. But I love to teach people about it and help people get one, because it's so easy. You just turn it on, and it's right there, and your life will just start blossoming, just changing really quickly, because it works on your subconscious triggers. And that's a game changer. You can treat the symptoms. So when you're listening to the frequency of pain relief, it's amazing. That's incredible. Boom, there you are. You feel better. You're treating the symptom. The Healy goes in and changes the subconscious trigger, whatever is going on inside of you that's causing the pain, and gets rid of that. So it's going even deeper.
I love
So
that.
I'd love to gift you a session. We'll talk about it after, so you can have the experience. You can have the
Oh,
Healy.
yes, I haven't experienced the Healy before, but yes, I've heard about it. I'm like, oh, these seem so cool. And it's like really cute too. I was like,
It's really cute. They just came out with a black one too. I'm gonna get the obsidian. It's called black obsidian. I'm gonna get the black one. This is the original one right here.
oh, that's so neat.
Are we too? I was listening to your podcast this morning. It was great. And your guest, but I was just listening to it. But are we visual too?
Oh yeah, so this would be also I don't have a YouTube channel where it's like a live stream or anything, but I do like to put these videos up on a YouTube channel that I just created recently. I'm now just exploring YouTube. You would think I would know this stuff.
What
But
are you doing? You're doing it now. Forget the past. Here you are.
I
You're
know,
doing
it's
it.
like you'd think I mean, I would just do it for music, and that's it. But now I'm like, no, people are putting podcasts on there. I'm like, well, let me put my recordings on there. Why not? And so they're just on there, unedited. This is how it is. I like to be raw and natural. Like if I mess up, and I've had kids come in the background, I've had their kids come in the background, and it's all good. It's all good. It's actually funny because this is
Those
life.
ravens are landing on your shoulders.
I know my cat like literally trying to jam inside the door, getting my attention, like feed me more, feed me more. Speaking
You are
about
the
my,
ram for
I
sure. I
know.
know to do that.
Speaking of my cat, we did a DNA repair frequency healing together. And my cat came out like brand new, like super energized. I'm like, whoa, kitty. So it doesn't just work for us as humans, it works for animals too.
And where are you, Gina?
Oh, I'm over in San Jose, California. Are you in California?
No, I'm in New York, but I actually took the train to San Jose. I've only been there once, and it was last year. and I went because I wanted to go to the Egyptian museum there.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
took the train from San Francisco, like I took the BART, and it was like an hour and a half ride, but it was public transportation. I don't know if it was like $1.50 or something, but I took it. It was a really long day because I took the train to like the last stop, and then I got an Uber to the museum. But you live right in that town. You could go there. Have you
Yes.
have you experienced it?
The Egyptian, not since I was a little girl. I have not been there in a long, long time. But now it's like I get all excited about the mysteries of the Egyptian schooling and all that stuff. I go even deeper than most people do. And I'm reading a Emerald Tablets book right now with Thoth, and just my husband thinks I'm cuckoo sometimes, but he laughs about it. But he's getting it now because I talk about it all the time. I talk about the world. It's like I get so much information because I ask all the time. I'm asking source, God, frequency, love, whatever you want to call it. It's the same. I'm asking constantly for wisdom. I said, I want to know about this world. I want to know about spiritual world. I want to know. I want to know. I want to know. Please help me and guide me where I'm supposed to be in this life because I chose this lifetime right now, which I've had many lifetimes before anyway, but this is the one that I'm in now. This is the one I'm consciously aware of. And so I'm like, okay, let's go. And so I get all this information, or at least guided.
Researcher. I was hearing this morning on one of your podcasts, you were talking to a guest and you're a researcher. And I'm like, I'm a researcher too. I go deep, deep, deep. I want to know everything. I want to know why. I want to know how. And and I love that. You're an
Yes.
investigator, right?
Yes, I am an Enneagram five, well, seven first and then five, which is the investigator. So I'm like, I like to find out the things, and then I can't rely on Google all the time. So I'll go on different search engines, and then I'll get books, and then I'll just you ask my spirit guides, and it all comes together. I'm like, I was like, I like those people who have those maps in the back and like to connect the dots. You know, I would have been a great investigator, I guess. But maybe not for me. But I like to like pinpoint things and find clues and put it all together, and then like have that light bulb moment where it's like, aha, this is why. Okay, this makes sense now. And it's exciting. It's fun.
It's so fun using your intuition and using synchronicities, right?
Totally, yes. It's amazing once you become sober-minded and you're just exploring everything, and I'm exploring everything. And we just got back from Hawaii, my husband and I. And the things that, okay, I'm gonna tell you another story. So I'd never been on a kayak before. I've never been on a kayak in the ocean, let alone a boat on the ocean. I just swam in the ocean barely, of just where the waves are hitting the coast. Well, I decided to go kayaking, and then this is the area that we're going to go ahead and do our scuba jumping or scuba diving, and then there's also cliff jumping. But the waters were so intense, and I didn't have my life jacket on. I mean, I had it with me, but I wanted to get out and swim and explore. The waves were like so intense, and I was trying to go closer to the cliff and I wanted to do the jump, but I didn't have the proper shoe, so I couldn't do it anyway. But I felt like my body hitting the those cliffs. I'm like, oh my god. And I got a little panicky. I'm like, okay, take a deep breath, breathe in and breathe out, and relax. You're going to be okay. And then I said, the guide said, "Oh, go back, go back. You swim back. It's not safe over here." I'm like, okay. So I started swimming backwards. I'm a pretty decent swimmer. And then as I was calming down, the waves were calming down. Because
Oh,
as I was panicky, the waves were panicky. I'm like, okay, it's this energy that I'm putting out there. And it's just so it's just like how you were saying about how we can control things. We're here to kind of manipulate energy in a way. And that's just proof for me. I'm like, wow, whatever energy I'm putting out there, I'm getting back. So that's why I try to make sure I put a lot of loving energy because it does come back in different ways, from animals too. And so, yeah, I just wanted to share that story.
well, it's a perfect example. You know that you were creating that experience.
Yeah,
Um,
it was fun though. It was
yeah, I
fun.
have something similar, and this is like a little bit of a dicey story. Yeah, as I'm not a swimmer, and I'm not good in the water. I don't, I might dip my feet in. Um, but my kids were little, and they were in a stream, and it was a pretty safe stream. But they went a little too far down, and they started to get swept. The current started to get stronger, and they started to get swept away. And they were like holding, and they started yelling, "Mom, mom, help!" And I'm like on the shore and like far away from them, and I knew that I couldn't jump in the water and like swim towards them, and that would make the difference. I just stood my ground. I stood on the edge of the stream, and I said, "They are safe.
Mm.
They are safe. Everything is working out. Help is on the way." And this woman near me, jumped in, swam like a fish, and brought them back to the shore.
Oh, wow.
And that's a little controversial, because what kind of mother doesn't just like jump in no matter what, even if you're flailing, and I didn't scream, "Help, help, help." I just stood there, and
Mm.
I was like, "Oh no, this is not going down. This is not, my kids are not going down this way. This is not happening." It was like I gave them the confidence to stand their ground, and then someone jumped in to help.
Wow. That's amazing. Yeah. Just like we were saying, you can literally just create that, like, no, because you had that knowing. And since you have that confidence and you had that knowing, and that was the result, and then they're fine.
And there's a little bit of I feel like in society now, there's this victim mentality, right? People are victims of this and victims of that. And when you're a victim, you get attention, but you don't have any power. So I just like to give a little warning about that, when you're like, "This person did this to me," and that, there's always that opportunity to turn it around, to be able to transform your life with whatever situation we're in, or anything that happens to you, and that you want to do that because you don't want to remain a victim very long.
Yes, because that is a choice, that is a choice. And how we speak to ourselves, like saying, "Hey, I'm a victim." Let's turn that victim mindset into being victorious instead, and coming out of that.
Victim to victorious.
Yes,
Yes.
because I can say, I had stuff happen to me. Of course, all of us have, I think, and I don't have that mindset where like, "Oh, woe is me." No, I got out of it, and I'm going to help others get out of that mindset as well. And I wanted to talk about how you have what's called like words are wands. And I love that because it reminds me of spelling, with putting spells. In your book, you refer to words as wands. And what does this metaphor signify, and how can we harness this power of our words to transform our lives?
Well, you were right on there when you said spelling. So spelling is casting spells. That's what that word spelling is about. You're actually spelling. You're casting a spell. And so words are wands. Words are magic wands. This is the easiest way we can cosmically, consciously create our reality, is through our words. So what I always I do a simple exercise. It's I am. So you start everything with I am, because when you bring I am is the word of God. It's God self. It's your intention. It's your divine angelic being. They're very, very, very powerful words. So be careful what you say. I am. Don't say I am tired. I am sick. I'm going to cancel, delete on those. You want to say, I am powerful. I am full of ease and grace. I am wealth. I am health. I am in love. Even when you don't feel it, say those words. When you hear negative words that you don't want the universe reverberating back to you, right? Because when you say, I am sick, well, then the universe just says, "They're sick. Give them more of that." When you say I am health, even if you don't feel healthy, the whole universe is conspiring for your health now, because they're like, wait a minute, their health, we got to catch up. We got to give them health right away. So that's what words are wants. It's about just becoming aware of what's coming out of your mouth, because you're casting spells
They're
all day
very
long.
powerful. These words are very powerful. I know. And then I started then researching words. It's like certain words and like, what do they mean? Like the root, what does this mean? And it all ties together. It's like, no wonder why they say certain things. Like even cursive writing, cursive, curse. It's like,
There's curse in there. I know. Oh, I'm like you. I'm really into etymology. And when you Google, that is not really the truth there. That's what the powers that be want you to think, that the derivation of that word. I mean, Latin, like it all comes from Latin. It's like we don't even, no one speaks Latin. It's not even
yeah,
a spoken language. It's so sus. It's all so sus. But the more that you are after the truth and asking for the truth, you will find it. And if it doesn't, this is my guideline. If what I'm learning or reading, if the bottom line isn't that I'm a divine, angelic, infinite being, it's not true. Period. Whatever it is, it's not true. And I just want the truth.
right. We just want the truth.
Well, we know how to get it because we're
Yeah.
investigators. So we can.
Oh, I know, I know. And then it's funny because during movies, you'll find many truths in movies. And then my husband and I will be sitting watching a movie, and then I'll be like, "Da-da-da-da-da." He's like, oh, there she goes. I'm going to get the commentary, whether I like it or not. And he
Yeah,
laughs about it.
people would be paying for this commentary.
I know. I said, and he says, "You're like a chat GPT, once someone asks you a question about something that's out there, you're like, gives them a response." I said, "That's good though." I said, "This is great." He was laughing now. Before he was very like standoffish, and I had to understand, we're different experiences in life and different times for him versus me, and that's okay. And but now he's starting to get it because he's starting to see for himself, and that's what I always say for my kids. You just have to see for yourself. I said, don't take my word for it. Find out yourself, you know. But I plant seeds. I do plant
Yeah.
seeds.
And use your gut or something that stands out for you. Like, that seems odd.
Totally. Now, going back to addiction, you define addiction as any repetitive behavior that doesn't align with our true desires. Can you delve deeper into this concept and perhaps share advice on breaking such cycles?
Yeah. So when you what is it you're trying to accomplish by drinking alcohol? Everything that we do is it leading to the things that we want in our life, or is it taking us further away from them? I had a friend kind of teasing me, oh, you're addicted to aromatherapy. You're always, sniffing those oils, and that's another addiction. Um, and I said, well, actually, it's not, because it leads me to joy and grace and ease and all the things that I want. So that's not an addiction, because that's where I'm going, and it's on the road to that. Alcohol wasn't. And one thing I like to share is that alcohol is a depressant, and when your your brain's always trying to take care of you, right? So you're putting a depressant on yourself, and you're becoming physically and mentally depressed. Your brain tries to make up for it by releasing stimulants and stress hormones at the same time. So you don't feel those while you're drinking, because the alcohol, that depressant is kind of overwhelming the stimulants, right? But they're trying to catch up. As soon as you stop drinking, that's when you feel the the stimulants and the stress hormones. That's why we get anxiety after we drink. And then we think, wow, I'm overwhelmed with life's problems. Let me drink again because then I felt better then. But you actually still have those stress hormones being released while you're drinking. It's just you're not feeling them because you're masking the symptoms of them. And when you stop drinking, you feel the symptoms again. So you think, I got to drink to, and it's a dependency cycle. So I think understanding that can help, because the drinking is not helping you with the anxiety. It's making the anxiety worse. And when you stop drinking, so much of that anxiety is relieved. I I heard this when I was still drinking, and it helped me a lot, because I was like, oh, what am I going to do? And when you stop something, when you close one door, another door always opens. Know that, have faith in that. So you can close that door to alcohol, and there will be many stress relieving tools at your fingertips to help you.
Wow. Yes, and many doors available that you will open and discover new possibilities, and just be in awe with everything, and just be so grateful of all the experiences now that you're experiencing. Oh, wow. I could talk to you forever, Rick. Is there anything else that I perhaps didn't ask that you would like to bring up or share? Any last thoughts or final words?
Oh, sure. Well, I just want to let people know where they can get in touch with me
Yeah.
if they're just listening. My website is rayleonard.me, RaeLeonard.me, and my Instagram is I am Ray Leonard, so you can find me there. And whatever you do, protect how you feel. How you feel is the most important thing in your day. And because once you get tripped up emotionally, it's much harder to come back. It's harder to control our emotions. So that's the hardest thing to get a handle of once they've gotten out of control. So protect how you feel and pivot. If something's not making you feel good, stop, do something else. If thoughts aren't making you feel good, change your thoughts, make a movement, go outside, go be with nature, protect how you feel most of all, because your feelings are very important.
Yes, beautifully said. Wow, Ray. Well, thank you so much. And yes, do get in contact with her, listeners. Amazing. She's a great guide, awesome coach, so please get in touch with her. But thank you so much, Ray. It's been a pleasure having you on my show today.
Thank you, Gina. Do it again and again.